Fasting versus feeding. The metabolic differences explained. The complex interplay between feeding and fasting states is a fascinating exploration of our body's metabolic functions. While the practice of fasting has recently gained popularity for its potential health benefits, understanding the metabolic differences between fasting and feeding states is crucial. This blog post aims to shed light on the metabolic processes involved in both states, how these processes might affect inflammation and nerve damage, and how to strike the right balance for optimal health. The basics of metabolism, an essential overview. Metabolism is a term that encompasses a wide array of chemical reactions in the body. These reactions are responsible for turning the food we eat into energy and building blocks necessary for life: proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, and select carbohydrates. Additionally, metabolism involves the process of discarding nitrogenous wastes, a byproduct of protein breakdown. This intricate biochemical process is continuously active in our bodies and is governed by the availability of nutrients in the blood. Depending on this nutrient availability, metabolism occurs in two primary states: the fed or postprandial state and the fasted or post-absorptive state. In the fed state, the body has ample nutrients from recently consumed food, while in the fasted state, the body is functioning with no new nutrient intake. The body oscillates between these states throughout the day, determining where it will derive energy from and whether it will store or use this energy. The dynamics of these states and the ensuing metabolic processes play a vital role in our overall health and wellness. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into what occurs during these states and the potential health implications, focusing on inflammation and nerve damage. The feeding state, a high-activity period. The onset of the feeding state is marked by the consumption of a meal. In the hours that follow, the body is buzzing with activity as it enters a period of high energy. This is when the digestive system gets to work, breaking down the consumed food into component molecules such as glucose, fatty acids, and amino acids. These molecules are subsequently absorbed into the bloodstream from the digestive tract and are then dispatched to various cells throughout the body. They act as vital fuel, providing the energy that cells require to carry out a plethora of cellular functions. During this period of nutrient abundance, the level of insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, rises in the body. The surge in insulin acts as a clear signal for the body to start storing any surplus nutrients. These extra nutrients are stockpiled in specialized storage tissues within the body, such as the liver, muscle cells, and adipose, fat tissue. This stored energy will later be tapped into when the body enters the fasting state and new nutrients are not being consumed. This cyclical process of energy use and storage underscores the intricate balance of the feeding and fasting metabolic states. Fasting state, understanding the energy conservation mode. The fasting state emerges approximately 8 to 12 hours post-meal, carrying on until the next instance of nutrient intake. During this period, the concentration of nutrients in the blood diminishes, inducing a corresponding reduction in insulin levels. This metabolic shift cues the body to transition from nutrient storage to nutrient mobilization. The primary resources for this mobilization are the liver and adipose tissue, which have stored excess nutrients during the feeding state. These stored reserves are utilized to provide the energy required to maintain bodily functions in the absence of new nutrient intake. As fasting extends, the body initiates a metabolic state known as ketosis, wherein it shifts to predominantly using fats as a source of energy rather than glucose. This transition to using fat reserves for fuel demonstrates the body's remarkable ability to adapt and conserve energy when nutrient intake is low or non-existent. The fasting state showcases the body's innate energy conservation mode, a biological safety net designed to sustain us during periods of nutrient scarcity. It is also a testament to the body's resilience and adaptability, highlighting its ability to tap into stored reserves and make efficient use of available resources. Notably, the fasting state is not a static period, but one of dynamic metabolic activity. It involves the orchestration of various physiological processes, all working in concert to maintain energy balance and ensure the body's survival during periods of nutrient deprivation. This state is a critical part of our metabolic rhythm and plays a significant role in our overall health and wellness. Inflammation and nerve damage. Addressing the concerns. Inflammation and nerve damage. Widespread health issues are intrinsically linked to metabolic activities in our bodies. Persistent inflammation has the capacity to interfere with routine metabolic functions and has been implicated in a host of metabolic disorders. On the flip side, states of overnutrition or excessive feeding can set off inflammatory responses, thereby disrupting the body's metabolic balance. Nerve damage presents a different challenge, impairing the body's capacity to accurately perceive energy requirements and manage transitions between feeding and fasting states. Surprisingly, fasting states, particularly those that usher in ketosis, have demonstrated potential benefits in reducing inflammation and promoting nerve health. These benefits can be attributed to the anti-inflammatory properties of ketones, as well as the promotion of cellular repair mechanisms during periods of fasting. Striking a balance between feeding and fasting and understanding their respective metabolic processes can contribute significantly to managing inflammation and preserving nerve health. However, it's important to note that these benefits need to be studied further, and professional medical advice should be sought when dealing with serious health concerns like chronic inflammation and nerve damage. Fasting versus feeding. Striking the right balance. Appreciating the metabolic shifts between fasting and feeding periods is the foundation to achieving a healthy balance for optimal wellness. It's not about endorsing one state while neglecting the other. Instead, it's about nurturing a harmonious rhythm, often known as the metabolic switch. This switch empowers our bodies to capitalize on the plentiful energy in the feeding state and leverage the restorative processes during the fasting state. Creating the right balance also requires being mindful of the food choices we make during feeding intervals. It's essential to consume nutrient-dense foods that support our body's metabolic activities. Additionally, it's important to ensure that fasting intervals are not extended excessively, leading to nutrient insufficiency. Our metabolic well-being is contingent on this subtle equilibrium. Fasting and feeding are not antagonistic but complementary aspects of our metabolic cycle, each offering unique health advantages. By acknowledging these processes, delving into their complexities, and learning how to effectively integrate them into our lifestyle, we can enhance our overall health and well-being.